Hello and welcome back. We are building a 10K megabase in creative mode, and right now we are looking at the production science build. So right here we have our production science build, which does 1/3 of 10K. What we're going to do today is mock this up and check that it actually runs. However, as you can see, the build is not centered on the rail. So what we're going to do is move everything. And I'm in two minds about whether to move the rail. I think I'm going to leave the rail where it is and move everything else. Okay. Okay, so we'll remove all these boxes from the blueprint. Okay. And what we're going to do is put it back down there, basically, so that it is central on the chests. Okay, so let's take off this, take off this, and put it back. So I'm actually quite tempted to, if this does work with very few roboports, let's put all the Logimods back. There they are. Then I'm actually tempted to see if we can find a way to squeeze up these rails a bit to win a couple more squares. Anyway, we'll find out. All right, so the whole thing is powering. Let's put a power block here. Okay. I'm trying to think of a... Right, so ideally we would power up the whole of... Oh, what's that doing there? I can go. Are there any other weird things? No? Okay. Right, so I think we can do the whole thing by a pair of substations like this. Oh, there's a legacy substation there. Except I kind of would prefer them to be a bit more centralized. Something like... Let's line them up on the roboports. Okay, that's the least likely option to cause trouble in future. Put in a radar. There we are. Then this station here needs renaming. So this is not Science Pack 3 out. This is Production Science Pack out. Wonderful. This train goes to Production Science Pack out and then to Labs. These are requesting 4K of this. Let's check that this is... Yep, that's good. Okay. Are these in automatic mode? Yes, they are. So they will try and run me over immediately we get this going. Right. Then we're going to put in some creative mode chests. Do we have them already? Yeah, duplicating providers. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are going to simulate having trains. Now, it's not a perfect simulation because in the real life, trains come and go, and there's a little bit of downtime while they swap over, but it'll do for now. I've got a feeling it won't actually matter for this build because we have 4 train carriages bringing in materials where we technically need 1. Okay, so we need some of these. Right, and we need some electric engines as well. There we go. So this build is now running. It feels like a really, really tiny build. It's only using about 50 Logibots. And we're up at 3 point something K. Okay, let's let this burn in. So we need this to be above 3.3K. Getting there. Sorry, there's nothing to do here other than wait for 1 minute for it to do. So, once we've done this, I'm going to look at the next build. And the least intimidating of the next builds is the electric engine build. So that is another fairly small footprint build. It's 9 electric engine machines wide, 9 electric engine fabricators wide. They require fluid. They require lubricant. So, okay, this is running at 3.4. So we are fine. We are absolutely fine. This build works. And in a minute, the train will be full. It's got 5.2K at the moment. So I think it takes 16K in total. Yeah. So when it hits 16K, that will go, the next train will come, and everything will be fine. I'm just going to leave this running, but it gives you a feel for how small the science potion build is, and you will see how small it is in comparison to the larger build for everything else. Now this is running absolutely fine with 4 Roboports. I think we could have even put a couple of Roboports down the middle. Yeah, and that would have covered everything. That's probably cutting it a little fine. There are bots charging, but we aren't getting charging halos, so it's fine. Okay, so what we're going to do now is start to sketch out a build for electric engines. Okay, so let's get our book. Put down a standard-ish build. No, these are all quite specialist. Okay, this one will do. Okay, power it up. Oh, I've got a feeling this leans to the right rather than to the left. Anyway. Yeah, it leans the wrong way with the beacons, but we'll... Okay, let's not start off wrong. Okay. Alright, start with coil. Right, instead of coils, we want to make electric engines. They require lubricant, engines, and circuits. Okay. And the lubricant comes in at the back. Now, there's 2 options here. One is to take this off. The other is if I blueprint this. Whoops. I just destroyed. I wish you couldn't do that. I wish you couldn't blank a blueprint in a blueprint book. I'm going to have to make that one again now, which is going to be annoying. Right, the other option is this. Electric engines have a very long crafting time, so they just require a single box to feed them. And a single box to empty them. There you are. 2 circuits, 1 engine. Practically nothing. So this would have boxes at the bottom. Like that. We can put a power pole there and there. and there. Okay, we're relying on the neighboring build supplying power here. But we will work that out. Okay, so there is a third option, which is, let's take essentially this. This is where I wish I had Picker Extended installed. Okay, so let's turn that around. So then this comes out at the bottom, and then we can go in here and out here. Then we can fit a power pole here and a power pole here, which gets everything powered up. Okay. Yeah, it shouldn't have been 2 and 1, it should have been 48, 24, but still that's well within the scope of a stack inserter. It's probably well within the scope of an inserter, to be honest. Okay, so those are our 3 options for the build. And it comes down to basically where we want this pipe. Now, the problem with this is going to come out, we're going to need lots of other builds around this. So this pipe is not going to be able to get through other builds. So I think this option is out. This option's a non-starter. This one is fine because we just stack these builds like that, one beside the other. But it does mean that we have to get these pipes out the side. Now we need 18 electric engines for the whole 1/3 build. We need 9 on a side, and it comes down to how much wider than 9 the overall build is going to be. This, we push the fluid out the bottom, which means we can put it into the middle of our tracks, right? So we'd have some roboports here. Now the problem is this doesn't reach quite far enough to get past a rail track. If it went 1 square further, you can see it would be free. But regardless of how we do this, that's landing in rail. If the whole build was shifted up a single tile, this would be on the bottom tile of the rail. So although this build looks aesthetically pleasing, I don't think it's actually going to work in practice. This doesn't work, so we're left with this one. Okay, so let's grab this. This is our electric engine. Okay, so if we just placed these side by side, so I'm assuming that's 9 because I counted. Yep, it is. Okay, so this is our first stab. Okay, and we can't really distribute these among a wider build because we don't have a good way of moving the lubricant around otherwise. Right, so this will be somewhere near the front. Let's get a roboport. Okay, so this is 1 roboport wide so far, this build. Then to make this, we need steel, iron, lubricant, green circuits. Right, we can potentially smelt the steel in this build, so that gets us down to iron ore, lubricant, and circuits. We can potentially make the circuits here, so that's iron ore, copper ore, and lubricant. Right, I think we can probably make a refinery close by. So we're going to have 3 train tracks. And I don't think there's a way to do it in a smaller footprint than this. Let's get a new blueprint. Okay, grab this. We could place this hard against there. Take this out. Put this hard against there. Okay, so that's our basic build. So we will have some number of things dropping off iron ore, copper ore, and picking up the engines, right? And we need very few. So we're going to have 4 carriages picking up. So let's get that where it needs to go right now. That's our middle of the build, give or take. So we want carriage. Yeah, we want 2 carriages one side of that, 2 carriages the other. There we are. Okay, so this inserter is actually on the middle of the rail. Do I still have the blueprint? Yes, I do. Okay, so we can do even better for centering. This may all be premature optimization, which does happen. Right, so currently we are there on the center of the build, but we could go there. And there. Okay. And I don't actually know which way round we'll be doing this, and I don't know what size trains we need for the others, but let's assume they're 2 4s for now. Okay, and we can bridge the whole of this with a couple of these guys, and again I think we'll do the half and half. There we are. Okay, so that's the guts of our electric engine build. We can now relocate power into it and put a radar into it. Where are the radars? There. Great, and that's it. Okay. So to power this, we need 12 2/3. 12 2/3 just for random numbers, engine builds. So 7 on each side would give us 14. So we could do 6 on one side, 7 on the other. So do we have an engine? This is really frustrating having blanked out that copper blueprint because it's a useful blueprint. Right. There's an engine build. Okay, so two, 4, 6, 7. And then we could do 6 this side. We may or may not decide that we want to do 7 and 7, or stick with 7 and 6. I don't know if it will matter in practice. Okay, we need 1 1/3 green circuit machine running at full speed with 12 beacons. And to power that, we need 1 2/3 coils. Right. Clearly, that's more than 1 and less than 2. We can get away with 2 direct insert green circuit builds. Okay, so we need 1 of those up there, 1 of those down there. Okay, so we can scoosh in these beacons one side or the other to make everything line up. Probably this side we get scooshed in, but we do end up with a gap. We can squish it in both sides, but you end up with the beams here being offset. Right, so that's that part of it. Right, so the next thing is we need pipes and gears. And for that we need we need 2/3 of a gear machine, so 1 gear machine. Let's find gears. Right, there's pipe. We need 1 1/3 pipe machines, but I think if we put speed modules in, we'll be okay. Right, and then in here, do we not have a gear build? I thought, yeah, we do. It's there. I wish this blueprints are just not very good. Okay, so we need half of this basically. And we might be able to get away with, because these are not back to back with each other, we can probably get away with using power poles. We might be able to get a 12th beacon in. It may or may not be needed to make the build work. Right, so then we need 11 and 1/3 steel builds, so 12 steel. So that's 6 and 6 again. So that's iron, that's steel, I believe. Right, that's 6 steel. We can put another 6 steel at the bottom. Yep. Then we need 5 copper plate smelters. Now, I think this is the case where we could put, because we've got fewer engine machines here and more here, we could put 1, 2 copper smelters here. We could put 1, 2, 3 copper smelters here. I'm thinking perhaps we sandwich the engine machines in copper smelters, one either side. Okay. I'm also thinking we put the green circuit build on the back row, so it might make sense to put the copper smelters by the copper coil machines in a line. Then I've lost count. I don't know if we need 21 iron plate machines or 21 and a third or 26 and a third. That's our iron smelter. Right, 26 and a third includes the extras to make the green circuits run at full speed, which we probably don't need. So that would be 13 iron smelters. So we can always take back some of our iron smelters. Is that 13? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Right, I'm going to get a new blueprint. And this, boys and girls, is our parts list, which we now have to assemble into a build. So that's going to be a job for next time. But it doesn't look too intimidating, does it? I think we can achieve this. So we're out of time. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.